In this video, we're looking at a first year set of accounts for a company that John's set up called John's New Life Limited. John has taken early redundancy at Lloyds Bank. He left on the 31st of March and set up his own new company called John's New Life on the 1st of April 24. He initially paid £500 into the company bank account, but was not sure what to do with the company. He spent 2 months decorating his house because it had not been painted since 2008. While he was decorating, his mate Bill popped over and was impressed with John's work, so he encouraged him to carry on his painting because Bill had just built 2 new houses and needed someone to decorate them. So John started work on the new houses in the middle of June 24. John is paid £100 a day for working from 10 till 3 with no breaks. He initially buys some brushes and rollers from Screwfix. Then he dropped his old phone into a pot of paint so as to get a new one on a contract with Orange. He paid himself £1,000 a week in wages. In March, his company year end came up, so he contacted you, his accountant, to prepare his accounts, and he sends you his bank transactions in Excel. He needs you to prepare micro-entity accounts, a corporation tax return for the year ended 31st March 25, and he would like you to calculate his tax due and would also like a dividend accrued of any remaining profits. He would also like you to prepare his personal tax return. So here we can see the bank transactions in Excel. You can see at the start the £500 John has put in. There's the amount he paid at Screwfix for his paint equipment. And Berry Builders, that's Bill's company, he's paying John. There's John paying his wages. He pays himself monthly, £1,000 a month. And here's the Orange contract. The only other amount that's any different is this later Screwfix payment where he's bought some more equipment. So now I'm going to start preparing his accounts, and the first thing to do is allocate transactions. My very first job is to add in a reference column here at the start and put in consecutive reference numbers, and this is so that we don't lose the order of the bank transactions, and you'll see why in a minute. Then I'm going to put in a check column, and this is basically going to add up everything that I've put in this row and make sure that everything has been allocated. So here, if I call this director and I allocate the balance across, you can see the check has gone to 0 and we need everything down the page to show as 0. So this is going to be my income column. This is going to be purchases. This is going to be wages. So the Screwfix is purchases, so I'll allocate that across. Here's my income from Berry Builders. That's the money from Bill. There we go. Then we've got the wages there. And actually, I'm going to speed this up. I'm going to go in here, click on data and sort by description. That's then just going to allow me to drag all of these numbers down the page. I've not got a phone column in there. I'll put the phone column in there and then allocate that one down. There you have it. And then put this last one in. So you can see now all of my check columns have gone to 0. That's everything allocated. I can go back here, click on sort, click on reference, and I'm back in my original order. There you go. So my next job is to add up the columns. So first thing I'm going to do is add in a row at the top there. Then I'm going to drag this down the page so that we've got the full column covered. And then I'm going to drag this across here. So we've got the totals for all of the columns. I'm also going to put a total in the amounts there. That's my payments for the year, or all the bank transactions. So the sum of these here we can see is 8620, and the sum of the bank is 8620. So we're matching. That's a good start. I could also put a total in the check column to make sure everything is 0, which it is. I think I'm done there on the bank, so I'm going to add in a new page, and I'm going to call this one ETB for Extended Trial Balance. In here, I am going to have a bank there. I'm going to call this income. I'm going to call this purchases. I'm going to call this wages. Forgot I need a director balance there. Top here, I'm going to call this bank. So I'm going to pull in my numbers from the bank here. So I want my total movement in the bank there. So I'm going to end up with 8,620. Then I'm going to reverse these balances. So my director number there, £500. My income number there, 19,000. My purchases number there, 700. My wages number there, 1,000. And the only other one I need is phone. So I pulled those amounts in there. Then if I put another total at the top of this column, I hope that it should come to 0, and it does. That works. Let's finish up this trial balance by adding some journals. So we need some share capital. So this is the initial shares put into the company. In this case, it's going to be £100. There's my journal for that. I'm also going to put in some accountancy, which is an accrual. So let's put in our balance sheet accrual there, and let's put in accountancy here. So that's going to be £300. It's a debit at the bottom, it's a credit at the top. Then let's put in some home as office. So that can be, I'll call it here, home as office there. It's £26 a week, so we'll do £26 a month, 26 times 12, 312. And we'll put that against the director loan account as well. Now we need to have a column for tax for when we get that, and dividends there. And then we've got, sorry, wrong place there. Put in the column below. And then put another total here. We're going to run totals across the page. Let's see where we've got to. Our totals add up to 0. That's great. I'm just going to do a bit of formatting here of the numbers to make them look neat. There we go. So now our trial balance is ready. We need to prepare accounts. So we'll log into Hypertax and set up a new client. We won't do the company's house search because this is an imaginary company, but we'll put an ID in there. We'll call this one R01. Tax reference, 10 digits. Let's put in an imaginary authorization code. So John's New Life Limited is the name of the company. It is limited by shares. Its registered number, 8 digits. Registered in England and Wales. 1 House Street. I think we're in Bury. Right, so let's create that client. There we go. And we can now go to a new set of accounts. Our period was 01/04/2024 through to 31/03/2025. We don't have any comparative year addresses in there. We can add in our director, John Smith. Date he was appointed, 01/04/2024. Male, Save that. And that's our set of accounts ready to put in the trial balance. So when you first look at the trial balance, you think, where are the boxes? Well, let's press this plus button. You can see boxes there, you can fill in information. So there's a cash box here, which is cash at bank and in hand. And that's where we're going to put in our bank balance here, 8620. So let's put that in, 8620. And then in our creditors due within 1 year there, we have our director's loan account to put in. That's showing 712. Let's get that in. Director's loan, it's a negative 712. It's a creditor. We also have our accrual there for the accountancy. What was that? That's £300. Negative again. We've got some share capital, which was issued in the year. That was a negative 100. Then as we go down, we're going to start hitting the profit and loss account. So let's go down a bit further. We have our turnover there. What was that? That's £19,000. That's a negative. Turnover is always negative. Oh, then we've got purchases of 700 and wages of 10,000. Cost of sales, purchases, costs are always a positive. So purchases of 700. Wages appears here in employees costs. That was 10,000. Then we've got Homer's office, phone and accountancy. So let's see if we find the Homer's office. That's normally premises cost 312. The accountancy here in legal and professional, that was 300. And the 180 for the phone, where will that? Is that in general? Telephone and fax, there you go, 180. And look, our net assets and our shareholders' funds match, so that has worked. So with our trial balance complete, we can now take a look at the accounts. We'll press this document button here, and it shows us our accounts. There we go. John's New Life Limited, year ended 31st of March 25. Contents, details, director's report. That's our profit and loss account, 7508. There's our balance sheet. We have some notes there. One thing I've just noticed is that this is small company accounts, and we need to change that to the micro entity accounts. So there we go, we'll change that there. Save. It will change the format slightly. And we also need a note for average number of employees. I'll put that in now. There's just one employee, that's John. There we go, we'll save that in. And our only other job is to put in the signing of the account. So choose your director here. There's John. Choose the date, 11/11/2025. That's the date we're signing the accounts. Director's report and balance sheet. Save there. Let's have a look at our document again, our accounts. There's our director's report. You can see now we've got John in there, and that's the date he signed. This is the short form version of the accounts. And now we've got to deal with the tax side of things. So if we click on this button here, it'll take us to the main page again for the company, and we can click on here and do a new tax return. Select our period. There it is. Save that. Let's have a look at our computation. It's pulled in the 7508 straight away from the accounts, and it's immediately calculated the tax at 19%. So this is a very straightforward one. So what we need to do right now is just put that corporation tax return into our trial balance and our accounts. So in our trial balance, we need a new heading in here, new row. This is going to be our corporation tax, and we can put our tax at the bottom here as well. Let's pull the amount we've got. So it's 142,652. There's a debit there. Let's put it as a credit here. Now we've ended up with 0 at the top, so we know that works. Now we need to get that into Hypertax in the accounts section. So let's go back to the main heading, go back to the accounts, into our trial balance, and down the page here we should have in creditors less than 1 year. Let's show all. Here's the tax balance there. We do this as a rounded figure, so 1427. Let's call it negative 1427. And then we're going to go down the page. We've got taxation here. Put this in as 1427. Are we balancing? Yeah, we are. That's good. So we think we're done with our accounts now. We can go back and have a look and make sure our tax has appeared. There we go, 1427. Just thinking though, we said we were going to give him a dividend and we haven't done that yet. And we can see that he's got profits remaining of 6,081. So I think we can give him a dividend of £6,000. Let's do that. So we'll put that at the bottom here. And that can be our £6,000. And that'll go against his director's loan account. We go, we're back to balancing again in the total. That's great. So we need to add in that to our trial balance in Hyper. So let's go back to the trial balance. So our dividends appear here in the profit and loss account, equity dividends. That's going to be the 6,000. Oh, we're not balancing, but of course we're not, because we put that against his director's loan account, which has now changed to 6,712. It was at just 712. So let's put that in. 6,712. Balancing again, that's great. Let's go back to our accounts, have a look where we are. Yeah, so we're still showing our £6,000 of profit, but our net assets has dropped right down to 181. That looks good. So these accounts are now completed and I need to save them down. So let's click this print button here. I'll save them here. I'm going to call it John's New Life Limited 2025 accounts. Let's save them there. Right, draft account saved. And what about the tax return? Let's save that so it can be reviewed properly. We'll update the accounts because that's now got the dividends in there. And we want a tax computation. Let's print that off. 2025 tax comp. There you go, save that. And we've also got the paper form that we can save as well. Where's that got to? There it is. Let's save it into the same place, hopefully. There's your life tax. So now we've got that, and we've got our file as well that we prepared. Let's just save that into the same. Oh, why I pressed that then? File. There it is. Get it into the same folder. 2025 accounts. There we've got everything. So in our folder, all ready to go, we've got the original bank transactions, we've got our accounts that we've just saved, we've got a full set of accounts there from Hypertax, that's those, and we've got our tax computation with the 1426 tax that we're aware of, and also the tax return. So that's a full file ready for review. I have just thought at the end of the details when we initially started, we said he would also like to prepare his personal tax return. So we better do that to finish up. So let's go back to the spreadsheet we had and have a new tab, and we can call this self-assessment. Let's think about what he's got. He's got some wages and he's also got his dividends. His wages, and bring them straight off here, they're £10,000, and his dividends are £6,000. So his total income is going to be £16,000. I know that we've got a personal hour of 12,570. So let's take his total income, that's his personal allowance. Should put some breaks in here. So he's got taxable income of 3430. Now, dividends are interesting because you don't pay tax on the first £500. So, and dividend tax is at a lower rate than normal personal tax. It's at 8.75%. So the actual dividend charge is going to be tax at 8.75%. I'll do my calculation here. It's going to be that number there, less £500, put that in brackets, and then multiply that by 0.875 to give us his dividend tax. There you go. So now we need to replicate that in Hypertax. So I'm back in Hypertax now, and we need to go back to the dashboard and click on setting up a new client, this time an individual. I'm going to give him a new number. He needs his tax reference, his national insurance number. These are all made up. Mr. John Smith. Let's give him a date of birth, 01/01/2000. Male, he's not married, I'm not going to put that in. From United Kingdom. This is his home address, New Street, and he is in Bury. Create a client, it's allowed me to do that. Let's do his tax return. So this is where we put the data in. We've got his employment here, and it's John's New Life Limited. I'll make up a tax code number here. Actually, it's normally 120//AB1234. And his pay, we said, let's go back there, it was £10,000. 10,000. Save that. And what else have we got? We've got some dividends. Shares, he's got 100 shares. His dividend was, let's have a look, £6,000. Save that. Okay, so now let's have a look at our calculation. We have our income, 10,000, our dividends, 6,000. Yeah, there you go. There's a dividend allowance. It's given him £500 tax free, and the rest is taxed at 8.75, 256. Let's see if it's agreed back. 256, that's a good result. So we can click this button here to show the detailed view, which will also show income from his employment and dividends at the bottom there. And we can save this down. That view. And this can be his John Smith detailed tax calculation, all saved onto the same file, all ready for review. And finally, that is our job complete.